A room with a view of the whole city. Fashion luxury, that's what he's got pretty.
When someone talks about first class service or even a first class booking these days, they generally assume that everything is also first class. But times have changed for certain airlines. There's still Emirates, which offers a good first class service. There's also ANA, or we have Japan Airlines, which are still in the first class segment. It has certain service facilities, but I recently flew with British Airways in first class. The service on board was really good. This new seat is a joy. And above all, what I enjoyed was that there were staff members who were somewhat motivated for English people. It was unusual, but somehow exciting because they managed to serve the catering area so perfectly that all the dishes were top-notch and hot, and above all, the champagne was cold. So you feel comfortable, and the innovative seats that British Airways has introduced are a joy when flying with this airline. That's a huge difference again, because when you fly with the airline, everything is fine, but when you have a connection with British Airways, it gets tricky. The issue is, and I can show you a factual example, when you arrive with British Airways, for instance, from the USA at London Heathrow, you are really excellent in a first-class seat, with first-class meals from Dew and Co. And also, really a first-class service. Great staff arriving in London, Heathrow. Then, the nightmare begins for you as a first-class passenger because you have a connecting flight. Or you even want to get off in London. For both things, you have endlessly long paths ahead of you and there's no one there. The one who picks you up at the airplane, which means excellent service at Air France. When you fly with Air France, you really notice a huge difference with the first-class personal assistant, because this first-class personal assistant, meaning the personal care, has been completely eliminated at British Airways. But you still have to pay just as much, even more, than you used to. For a first-class ticket with British Airways, you pay starting from €6,500. From London, Heathrow. I don't think the flight is worth it then, because I say it's nice to get good service on board, but if everything else isn't right, then I'm missing that. And this service that has been cut, the personal assistant, meaning the personal care, that no longer takes place, doesn't just disappear. And above all, the problem is that we simply pay too much money for it. So, if I land in first class with British Airways at London Heathrow, I'm completely on my own. I have to take these long paths, I have to use some trains. Then, when I have a connecting flight, for example, having landed at Terminal 5, to get to Terminal 3, I still have to go through bus connections and then go through a security check, through a passport control, to finally get to the lounge. The distances are endless and the service here is abysmal. Terrible. So that means there should be someone from British Airways there to pick you up at the airplane and then take you directly to Terminal 3 for a special check, which means that when I arrive there, I would be quickly processed at this special check and then have the opportunity directly into the first class lounge, because British Airways has a first class lounge at Terminal 3 with a small Concorde section, and that would of course make this service excellent again. And I would clearly say if British Airways offered such a service, then people would fly with British Airways much more often because the service would be excellent. Just imagine, you would have a fantastic first class service. You would be picked up by a chauffeur service, whether you're coming to London or flying out from London, and then taken directly to the next destination. You would say, okay, if they pay €1,000 more for it and charge more, that's perfectly fine. But now, they are asking for a lot of money for less and less service. And that's why booking with British Airways is an absolute nightmare. The connection from Terminal 5 then, with the connection to Terminal 3, is such a dramatic situation that I would say that these long walks after a flight at 5 or 6 in the morning are simply not acceptable to us first-class guests. It isn't unreasonable. The service from British Airways is completely restricted here, just because they are not willing to provide us with a personal assistant who can quickly and elegantly take us there with a chauffeur, or however it may be. The only option you have is to book a VIP service separately at the airport. That's what British Airways has cut back on. But you should definitely do that. So here's the tip for everyone. If you're flying first class with British Airways, then try to get the best price available. Then you have excellent service on board, and what you've saved, you invest in a VIP service at Heathrow Airport. Because when you arrive at the airport, you'll be picked up and taken directly to the plane. And if there's still time, then head to the VIP lounge, which is way better. Like any British Airways first class lounge or the Concorde lounge. The same goes for when you come back. So are you coming back to London? When you arrive at Heathrow, the big advantage is that you'll be picked up by the VIP service in a limousine. You'll then be taken from T5 to T3. In the meantime, if it takes a little longer, or you still have time to connect, the VIP lounge will be waiting for you. You can spend a fantastic time in between, and then you'll be taken directly to your connecting flight. Brought by limousine with the VIP service. That would certainly cost around 500 to 1,000 euros more, but if you get a bargain flight with British Airways, for example, for 4,000, you'll have another 1,000. For VIP, it's still cheaper than the 6,000, 7,000 you pay for a first-class flight, which includes zero service, poor Concorde quality, dirty, filthy lounges, and above all, they provide fantastic service on board. Because one thing is clear, the seats are great, but the personal assistant services have been cut. And the connection from T5 to T3 is terrible. Thumbs down.